This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, a child returning a positive COVID-19 test result on Stewart Island has health authorities racing to the island. A 17-year-old Dunedin school pupil has been named in New Zealand's Olympic swimming team. And Dunedin's Linton Christian School is set to open brand new classrooms tomorrow morning. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. A child on Stewart Island has returned a weak positive COVID-19 test result. Officials are now investigating whether it's a historic case or a false positive test result.
News of a child testing positive for COVID-19 on Stewart Island was confirmed by the Director General of Health this afternoon.
Yes, we were notified yesterday of rather than calling it a case, a very weak positive result actually in a child, which was a bit puzzling, and this came as a result of pre-departure testing.
Speaking at this afternoon's press conference, Dr Ashley Bloomfield says Southland-based health authorities are on their way to Rakiura.
The PHO and the DHB are mobilising some teams to go to Rakiura today to test other children in the daycare centre where this child attended, and also others in the community who may want testing.
He says the early childhood centre the child attended is closed for the rest of the week, and they're waiting for further test results from the child's parents.
All the other family members tested negative, and repeat testing of both the child and other family members was negative as well. We're awaiting some serology results on the parents just to see whether we can see whether there might be historical infection there.
Dr Bloomfield says it's more than likely a false positive test result, but they're taking all the necessary precautions just in case. In Southland, the South Today.
Organisers behind the Southland Charity Hospital say the new facility will also be made available to people in Otago. While the hospital is still under construction, the organisation is already using other health facilities in Invercargill to take referrals for colonoscopies. When the charity hospital opens mid-next year, it is set to offer a far wider range of services, including dentistry and general surgeries. Hospital Board Chairman Murray Pfeiffer says the plan is to make the new hospital available to people not only in Southland but also Otago. Even though all medical staff will be donating their time, the hospital's annual running costs could be as high as $500,000 a year. Dunedin has a brand new taking to the pool at this year's Olympic Games. 17-year-old Erica Fairweather has been named on the swimming team for next month's Tokyo Olympics.
Yesterday was not your average day at school for Erica Fairweather.
This definitely wasn't a one-person job. I had my parents, my coaches, Swimming New Zealand, Cabinet College, of course.
In fact, it was almost as rare as school days come.
Oh yes, I had my little moment before everyone came. I was sitting on the floor and I was like, holy crap, I'm going to the Olympics. This is insane. And then, I composed myself a little bit more, so it was good.
The Year 13 Cabinet College pupil was cheered and clapped onto the school hall stage after being announced as a member of New Zealand's team for next month's Tokyo Olympics. Fairweather is set to compete in swimming's 200 metres, 400 metres and 4x200 metre freestyle races, where she'll be up against the best in the world, and she knows it's right up where she belongs.
I'll be more comfortable. They're still the big dogs, they're still the best in the world, and you get to go race them. But you've earned your spot there. I deserve to be there, and that's so exciting to me.
Former Otago Olympian and dual international Susie Bates made the announcement at a school assembly. It was a special moment for Fairweather, who showed plenty of emotion standing on stage as a haka was performed for her. One of her closest friends has seen Fairweather's swimming career take off over the years and is blown away with her friend's Olympic call-up.
I get so emotional about it because I know how much effort she puts into everything that she does, and I couldn't think of a more well-deserving person of all of this. She, no matter what she's going through or how hard she's working, she always puts everyone else first.
Her parents, Emma Young and Mark Fairweather, were front and centre at the assembly and are understandably incredibly proud.
Yeah, amazing, crazy, yeah, very proud.
So proud for her, you know, and stoked for her. You know, she's tried, she's wanted this for years, and it's finally come to fruition. Is amazing.
While still in Dunedin before she heads away, Erica Fairweather is set to train in the 50-metre pool at the Moana Pool Complex. In Dunedin, the South Today.
High school rugby teams are battling it out in a series of annual inter-school games across the South Island. Supporters turned up in droves at King's High School in South Dunedin yesterday for the annual inter-school match against Southland Boys High School. Both teams put on impressive hakas before the game, which was shut down 11 minutes early due to a serious injury to a Southland Boys player who was taken to Dunedin Hospital. The result was a narrow win for the Kings' first 15, beating their Southland rivals 12 points to 10. In other games this week, Otago Boys was beaten 26-13 by Christ College in Christchurch. An idea which started almost 20 years ago has become a reality as Linton Christian School in Dunedin opens a new junior classroom block. The brand new space opens tomorrow, and the school says it means the school can continue to grow.
This brand new block at Dunedin's Linton Christian School in Pine Hill is set to open tomorrow, marking the end of an 18-year mission.
So having this extra space does mean that there's the potential for us to grow a little bit more if the Ministry of Education is able to give us a role increase at some stage.
18 years ago, Dunedin couple Ross and Catherine Pettigrew bought number 3 Hillary Street, with the idea it could be used in the future as a classroom for the children's school. Sydney Harlow lived in the flat next door and shared the Pettigrew's vision.
He was just a very dear friend of the school, and he just loved seeing the children and just having that interaction in his everyday. And he said to us at that time that it was his hope that one day his property would also be owned by the school and that this very thing could happen.
When Mr Harlow died in 2009, at his request, the Pettigrews bought his flat. The Pettigrew family held onto the properties until the Dunedin Christian Schools Association had the funds to buy both flats in 2018. This week, the former Hillary Street flats are being officially opened as 2 redeveloped classrooms.
We can see that it's a real blessing to the whole school, not just our junior children.
Linton Principal Fiona Sizemore says the new classrooms were a long time coming and about 3 years in the making, from funding to planning and building. The additional classrooms will help the school manage an increasing role. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. New concerns are raised about toxic waste stored at the T.Y. Pointer aluminium smelter. And we have this week's edition of Football Chat. So catch this and more after the break.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We've opened another pop-up store in Otago. It's for a limited time. We're in D Street, 201, right beside the Lone Star. Come and check us out. We've got some fantastic deals for you. We've got moleskins, we've got every sort of shirt, worn ones, work ones, business, merino knitwear, jeans, trousers, you name it, the list goes on. It's such a big deal. Come and see us.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Alex Campbell Menswear, pop-up store, D Street, Invercargill.
Welcome back. New research shows that the sea is rapidly eroding a beach in front of a mountain of toxic waste stored at the Tiwai Point aluminium smelter. Coastal mapping expert Dr. Murray Ford says there's been up to 40 metres of beachfront erosion since 2010. The University of Auckland lecturer says the worst spot is a strip of sand east of the smelter, in front of a concrete pad that contains almost 200,000 tonne of smelter waste, laced with cyanide and toxic fluoride. He says that while sea level rise is hard to forecast, the stakes are high, and he recommends accelerating thinking about what to do with that material. A lucky discovery by demolition crews will allow descendants of the Cadbury's factory founder to learn more about their family's history. Workers demolishing the site to make way for Dunedin's new hospital recently discovered 16 volumes of archives, with some dating back to the turn of last century.
A team of about 20 workers are staying on schedule with their demolition of the former Cadbury factory to make way for Dunedin's new hospital. Last week the crew reached their halfway point in the demolition when they spotted 16 books containing the business records of the original biscuit and confectionery firm that was founded by Richard Hudson in 1899. Paul Hudson, a great-great-grandson of the original founder, says the archaeological survey of the building, before demolition began, must have missed this treasure trove.
I believe they were up on the second floor in a cupboard, and it was previously the company secretary's office, and no doubt well stored, because I understand that we thought that the Hocken and others had been through and taken away any documents that they wanted, but obviously didn't find a hiding place.
So far, the Christchurch-based demolition company Ceres has moved more than 8,000 tonnes from the site, with more than 80% being recycled. And Hudson says he's very impressed that workers spotted the historic ledgers before they ended up in the rubble.
Oh, I think the demolition crew are absolutely marvellous that they've found them, because they would have been lost totally and so many things end up in the rubbish tip these days, and we lose the historical importance of them.
Hudson says the books show a facet of the business that might not otherwise be available to historians.
To be able to read minute books and see their signatures and see the share transfers, to look at the purchase of motor vehicles or the purchase of biscuit cutters to make chocolate biscuits, it's been absolutely amazing.
The Hudson family are hoping the books will eventually go to the Hocken Library. In Dunedin, the South Today.
In this week's Football Chat, 2 local players stand in for Morgan Jarvis to discuss recent fixtures with Katie Fawkes and Cody Brooke.
Hello and welcome to this week's Football Chat, where we talk about all things football, hosted by myself, Rahan Ali, and Matt Kelly.
Yeah, thanks Rahan, and let me be the first to welcome our guests, Katie and Cody. It's good to have you here today. Unfortunately, Morgan couldn't be here today. Katie, could you give us a quick rundown of what happened Friday night on the turf against Green Island?
Yeah, of course. So I had an incredible view of the game from the bench actually, initially, alongside Talia Room. And yes, some big soccer kicks from us, some nice big soccer kicks from Green Island as well, but we were able to clinch the win. In the end, goals to Emily Morrison initially, diabolical toe poke finish. And then Neve stepped up and showed how goals should be scored.
Nice. Sounds like soccer was the winner on the day.
Soccer's always the winner.
Now, typically Dunedin Tech's biggest games this season have been games against University and Roslyn. Yet this season you've scored 33 goals and conceded only 3 in 5 games against those teams. And a couple of the formerly smaller teams have pushed you quite close. What's been the difference this season?
I think all credit to those formerly smaller teams, to be honest, who have come out and barred up and just been ready for that kind of bare knuckle brawl to the death. They've done really well, and I think also something that could be contributing to that as well is we tend to fizz up more for the kind of Uni A Roslyn games because I think we take a bit more pleasure out of beating them, so that also could be contributing to that. But yeah, for those smaller teams, they've done so well this season, so credit to them.
Cody, let's talk about the game against Roslyn. Mozzie played Roslyn at Alice Park, and they lost 3-2. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so we knew coming into it was going to be the biggest game of the season for us, so it was a big week of training. We rolled up to Alice Park, pretty ordinary turf to be honest, more sand than grass, which was no benefit to either side. But yeah, we're in good spirits, went into the game, we were 2-0 up at the half, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't think it was all over then and there. But yeah, it went out, sort of rolled over with 20-30 to go, and Roslyn kicked on, and fair play to them, they clinched it with a 3-2 win, and that was all she wrote.
Bit disappointing, but we did hear you scored 2 goals. The second one was a bit of a banger. We've got the highlights here for you, but just run us through that second goal. What were you thinking?
To be fair, it just popped out for me, and I looked up, and I would have needed binoculars to see if Tom was off his line, and I didn't have them on me. So I took a chance, and yeah, it snuck in, so yeah, pretty happy with it.
Nice, always good to hear. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Thank you to our guests, Cody and Katie, for joining us, and thank you, Matt.
And thank you, Rahan, as well.
Cool.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for having us.
And you can watch the full interview online at odt.co.nz. Still to come on the South today. It's raining golf balls in Christchurch, well almost, for a charity. And speaking of the weather, we see what's in store for you tomorrow. So see you after the break.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We've opened another pop-up store in Otago. It's for a limited time. We're in D Street, 201, right beside the Lone Star. Come and check us out. We've got some fantastic deals for you. We've got moleskins, we've got every sort of shirt, worn ones, work ones, business, merino knitwear, jeans, trousers, you name it, the list goes on. It's such a big deal. Come and see us.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Alex Campbell Menswear, pop-up store, D Street, Invercargill.
Thanks for staying with us. More than 3,000 golf balls rained from the sky as part of a Christchurch school fundraiser recently. St Patrick's School in Brinda used the event to raise more than $26,000 towards its junior gymnastic and school ambassador programs. Hosted by Riccarton Park Golf Complex, the event was a culmination of weeks of hard work by pupils to sell as many golf balls in the community as possible. Each ball was labelled with a unique number and loaded into the helicopter for the big drop. To win the grand prize of $1,000, a person's ball had to make a hole-in-one or closest to it. The winner chose to donate the money back to the fundraiser. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. A child returning a positive COVID-19 test result on Rakiura Stewart Island has health authorities racing to the island. A 17-year-old Dunedin school pupil has been named in New Zealand's Olympic swimming team. And Dunedin's Linton Christian School is set to open brand new classrooms tomorrow. And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Barry Stewart. What have you got for us tomorrow?
Hello, Mel. Invercargill Mayor Sir Tim Shadbolt has revealed he is battling a health condition he believes is affecting his ability to defend himself. So you can read more about that in the Otago Daily Times tomorrow. We'll also have a look at the impact of LED lights on the city. A percentage, I'm not sure, but almost done, I think. So they're well into that transformation. So a chance to review that. Continuing story about Balclutha man who was left frozen and in severe pain, waiting for an ambulance which never came. This is the latest Southern ambulance delay story to emerge as we wait to learn whether the $80 million promised in the budget. And what they're going to do with it, and is that going to alleviate the problem? So we're still looking for some answers to those questions. You've touched on the COVID scare at Stewart Island. We'll have more details on that.
Good.
Sports lift out today, of course, and the big topic of conversation is what, Mel?
Go the Highlanders.
Yeah, good girl. Go the Highlanders. So, yeah, that's the focus of a bit of that. And, of course, we have our sports writer, or our rugby writer, Stephen Hepburn, going to Auckland to capture the moments as we bring home the trophy.
Wonderful. And you can catch all of that in tomorrow's paper. And now it's time to look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, demolition of the former Cadbury factory through safety glass. Looking at the situation, a weak ridge of high pressure will bring a clearance tomorrow with some sunny periods developing, especially inland. Temperatures will remain cold though. The next low pressure system to move across the Tasman Sea will target the North Island at the weekend. Starting at the northwest of the South Island, showers and 13 degrees for Westport and 13 degrees for Greymouth, who manages to escape the rain with partial cloud. Moving to the northeast, showers and 11 degrees here for Nelson and Blenheim. Showers in Canterbury as well, with 9 degrees in Kaikoura, 8 degrees in Christchurch and 7 degrees in Ashburton. Heading to the southern towns, light winds and fine weather for all here. With the Catlins and Balclutha reach a high of 10, with Lumsden and Gore a slightly higher 11 degrees. Moving to the Central Lakes area, light winds and fine weather for all in this region also, with 11 degrees in Wanaka, 10 degrees in Queenstown and Tiana. Alexandra has the high with 12 degrees. Moving to the northern towns on the coast, cloudy with light easterlies and 10 degrees for Timaru and Oamaru. Moving inland, light winds and fine weather with 12 degrees for Twizel and Damarama. And in Dunedin, rain clearing tonight with a low of 6, mostly cloudy but dry tomorrow, cold with light easterly winds, a high of 9 and a low of 6. Milder on Saturday, mostly fine with sunny periods with some cloud and moderate northeasterlies, a high of 12 and a low of 7. And in Invercargill, mostly cloudy tonight with a low of 5. And looking at a high of 11 and a low of 1. Sunny periods with some high cloud on Saturday, light easterly winds, a high of 12 and a low of 7. And that's all for our news this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz or follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.